Usha and Aniruddha. Part 2. Chitralekha walked through the sacred streets of Dwarka. Her soul had already seen him, but now her steps followed. Invisible to the world, guided by fate, she wandered, not with eyes, but with knowing. The city glowed with life. Temples rang with chants, warriors trained in the courtyards, and the air carried the scent of incense and ocean breeze. She searched, not with eyes, but with intuition. And then, she saw him. Aniruddha, speaking to elders, laughing with soldiers, graceful in movement, but powerful in presence. The same glow, the same calm, the very soul Usha had described, now standing beneath the sky, fully alive. Chitralekha watched silently from the shadows, her heart steady, her task complete. She didn't speak. She didn't reveal herself. She only watched and knew this was him. The one who had touched her friend's soul. The one who lived in dreams and now, in truth. She turned away, the painting still folded close to her heart. It was time to return. To tell Usha that he exists. He lives. And the stars had begun to align. Usha sat beneath the stars, her eyes closed, the painting in her lap. Chitralekha had returned. She had said just one thing. He is real. No more words were needed. That night, Usha's breath slowed. She held his image close and let her heart fall into stillness. And somewhere, between silence and longing, her soul drifted again. But this dream was different. She stood in a garden she had never seen before. Flowers she did not know, a sky she had never touched. And then, he was there, Aniruddha. No longer a distant figure. No longer a silent vision. He looked at her, not like a stranger, but like someone who had known her forever. She stepped closer, but didn't speak. He raised his hand, gently, as if to touch the space between them. Their eyes met. And for the first time, he smiled. Not a word was spoken. Not a promise made. But everything was understood. When Usha awoke, there were tears on her cheeks. And a peace she had never known. The bond had deepened. Their souls had met. And now, their hearts would follow. The night was still. The palace lay in silence. But in Usha's chamber, something stirred. She sat awake, unable to sleep, her fingers tracing the lines of the painting again and again, as if willing him to appear. And then, light flickered by the window, not from the moon, but from something, someone. She turned, and there he was, Aniruddha. Not a dream, not a vision, not a whisper in the night. Real, standing before her, confused, silent, and drawn, as if by an unseen force. Usha's breath caught. Her world stood still. Chitralekha emerged from the shadows, her expression calm. I brought him, she said. Usha didn't move. Neither did he. For a moment, They simply looked at each other, as if trying to understand how a dream could take form before their eyes. Then, slowly, Usha stepped forward. So did he. No words, no names, just hearts remembering. Their eyes locked, and the space between them disappeared. Not in distance, but in doubt. Fate had brought him to her. And in that moment, nothing else existed. The palace was no longer quiet. Servants whispered. Guards rushed through halls. And in the heart of it all, Usha and Aniruddha stood, still lost in the magic of their first real moment. But fate had been watching. Banasura entered the chamber. Eyes wide, heart burning. He saw a stranger beside his daughter. A warrior, bold and calm. And Usha, smiling. What is this? He roared. Usha stepped forward. This is the one I saw in my dreams. He is the one I was meant to find. But Banasura did not hear her words. Only his pride, his fear, his fury. Aniruddha stood firm, his eyes never leaving Banasura's. I came with no sword. I was brought here by love. But I will not run from your wrong. With a wave of his hand, Banasura's soldiers surrounded him. Chitralekha tried to speak, but it was too late. Chains were brought. Aniruddha was taken. Usha cried out, not in weakness, but in desperation. This is not war, father. This is love. But Banasura turned away, his footsteps louder than her tears. And as the chamber door slammed shut, a shadow fell over Sonitpur. The storm had begun. War came to Sonitpur. Dwarka rose like a tide. Led by Sri Krishna, not as a king, but as a grandfather, coming to bring his beloved home. The skies thundered. Banasura stood strong, his pride wrapped in armor, his army vast. But Sri Krishna did not waver. He was not here to destroy. He was here to remind the world that love is not a crime. The battlefield trembled. Bows were raised. Swords flashed. And then, the earth itself paused. For Lord Shiva had arrived. Banasura's greatest protector. His chosen god. His strength. The two gods stood opposite each other. Krishna, calm like the ocean. Shiva, still like the Himalayas. The world held its breath. But there was no clash. Only silence. A sacred silence. They did not fight. They only saw. Krishna saw devotion. Shiva saw love. And together, they turned to Banasura. He fell to his knees. Not defeated, but awakened. He looked at Usha, her hands trembling, her eyes unbroken. And in that moment, he saw her. Not as a child, but as a soul who had chosen. He looked at Aniruddha. Still standing. Still waiting. Still full of love. And he understood. He stepped back. Let go. Bowed his head. And with the blessings of two gods, Usha and Aniruddha stood hand in hand, beneath a sky cleansed by rain and light. Their love, once hidden in dreams, now stood in daylight, crowned with grace. And as flowers fell from the heavens, Usha smiled for the first time. Without longing, she had found him. She had kept him. And the gods had smiled.